Chris here, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about the books I read between January 5th and January 11th. First up, I read Mr. Lemoncello's Library Olympics by Chris Grabenstein, and I gave this book 4.25 stars. In this book, Kyle is back, and so are his friends. The escapades they had with the escaping from the library in book 1 have kind of made their way across the country. People all across the country have heard about it, and kids from other locations claim that they would have been able to escape the library faster than Kyle and his friends did. This leads Mr. Lemoncello to invite the best kids from each region to come and face Kyle and his friends in what Mr. Lemoncello is dubbing the Library Olympics. I am still really enjoying this series. I like getting to see the puzzles. I like the competition aspect of this book, with Kyle and his friends having to kind of prove that they deserved their spot that they earned in the first book. I really liked some of the games, and man, I wish that as a kid I had a library as cool as Mr. Lemoncello sounds. So I am still really liking this series and definitely plan to continue on with it. Next up, I read Chocolate Chip Cookie Murder by Joanne Fluke, and I gave this book 4.25 stars. This is a reread for me. In this, we follow Hannah, who runs a bakery in Lake Eden. She is juggling running her successful bakery and dealing with her mother, who is trying to set her up with every eligible bachelor in town. One day, she finds Ron, the dairy delivery man, dead in the alley outside of the bakery, and her brother-in-law is the officer assigned to the case, and he asks Hannah to keep her ears open in case she hears anything that might be pertinent to the investigation. She takes this one step further and really gets involved in trying to figure out who killed Ron and why. I really like Hannah and the dynamic we see with her mom and her sister. I like getting to see how Hannah uses her bakery and her baked goods to kind of insinuate herself with different people in her town and help to get the information she needs to kind of put together who killed Ron and why. This is one cozy mystery series I'm still in, and I definitely plan to continue rereading the series as I'm really enjoying it. And I also like that there are recipes you can try out in these books if you're so inclined. Next up, I read The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley, and I gave this book 3 stars. In this book, we follow a group of old friends who have gathered at a hunting lodge in a remote area to celebrate New Year's, and one of them ends up dead. We have no idea who the dead person is. It kind of bounces back and forth between present day, where we know there's a dead body, and then a few days earlier where we meet the characters and start to get an understanding of what their relationship is like and try to figure out which one of them is the dead person and which one of them might have done it. I really liked The Guest List by Lucy Foley. I liked this one far less. I definitely had some twists and turns in here that I didn't see coming, but some of it I kind of clocked pretty quickly. My other issue with this book is that I spent a lot of it going, can multiple of them be murdered? Because they're all really, like, not great people. So I didn't really like any of the characters in this book, which didn't help. There were also a few that kind of felt like they were just there to add to the numbers and that they didn't really play a major factor in the book, which made it that much easier to figure out who did it. And there were a few people in there that felt like very much red herrings, and by the time I got to the end of the book, I was really annoyed that their story was in there because it had absolutely nothing to do with the overarching story that we were being told. So all in all, this wasn't my favorite thriller. Next up, I read The Sight by Aaron Hunter, and I gave this book 4 stars. This is the first book in the 3rd arc of 6 of the Warrior series. If you're new to my channel, the Warrior series follows forest cats who live in clans. There's 4 clans. We follow Cats in ThunderClan, and we have to see how they deal with life inside their clan and dealing with the other clans in the forest. In this book, we have 3 points of view. We're following 3 kits who become apprentices in this book. They don't know that there is a prophecy about the 3 of them that could eventually mean trouble. I am still really enjoying my reread, and I love listening to these books on audiobook. It was nice to get to spend some time with these characters again, and there is an awesome moment in this book, which, if you've read this book, you probably know what I'm talking about, that got me emotional the first time I read it and got me emotional again in this reread. Yeah, I'm just really enjoying this series, and I like that we're getting to see again another perspective. And I know, obviously, since I've read this arc of 6 before, I obviously know there are certain things that happen, but I don't remember which books they happen in, so that'll be a pleasant surprise as I come across them. And one of the characters in this book ends up being one of my favorite characters in the series, but I forgot how kind of prickly they were when we're first introduced to them, so I'm quite curious to see their journey, to see how they grow and change across this arc of 6. And lastly, I read The Shadows of Doom by Jennifer Bell, and I gave this book 4 stars. This is the second book in the Uncommoner series. We're back with Ivy and Seb, and they are headed back to Londonor, and once again have to thwart some evil plans that have been put into motion by the Dirge. I'm still really enjoying this world. I like getting to see their grandmother more involved this time. I am again loving when they come across an object that has an uncommon use and getting to see what the uncommon use of that object is, because I find that just fascinating, and I think it really brings a lot to the story that, like, you never quite know what you're going to get because these objects could really do anything. I like the fact that we kind of meet a new kind of villain and we wonder kind of how he ties into the story. Like we see we have Jack here. He's Jack in the Green, and I like us trying to figure out how he factors into the things that are going on in Londonor in this book. I am still really enjoying this series, and I'm quite curious, based on the events of this book, where things go next and how the story evolves from here. These are some of the books I've read recently. Have you read any of these books? Feel free to talk to me about them in the comments below. If you've made it this far in the video, the emoji of this video is going to be flowers. Like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!